Hi there, let's go over the answers to this review so that you can check to see that you're understanding the material. So number one, it wants us to have evidence of 6 types or 6 evidences of a chemical change or a chemical reaction. We've talked about these on page 102 if you want to check, but basically is heat given off or absorbed? Is the starting material used up, so disappears? Disappearing material. Color change is another indication. Gas being given off, so bubbles. Precipitate forms. And another name for precipitate is a solid forms. And it's difficult to reverse. So those are our 6 evidences. Next, give 2 examples of a chemical equation using words, and then restate it in a chemical formula. One could be one that we remember from a long time ago, and that's photosynthesis. So in photosynthesis, carbon dioxide plus water vapor produces oxygen plus sugar. So that's the word equation. Now let's replace it with the chemical formulas. CO2 is replaced for carbon dioxide, H2O gas, because it's in vapor, O2 for oxygen, and it's glucose, so C6H12O6. And our little arrow. So there would be one example. Your textbook on page 148 and page 149 lists other examples if you want. What's the difference between endothermic and exothermic reactions? Again, if you're reading your textbook, that's page 150. Endothermic means that things are cooling down. So if you graphed time of the reaction versus the energy or the heat, the reactants would be up here, lots of heat, and then over time the products are down here, they're colder. So that's endothermic. Exothermic, it's the other way around. So an exothermic reaction, time of the reaction versus energy or heat. You start out with the reactants down here, and they're not very high for energy and heat, but once the reaction's over, then the products are higher in energy or heat. In other words, the reaction is heated up. So this is exo, and this is endo. In which of the side in an equation are the products usually found? On which side are the reactants? So this should be a relatively easy one for you. Here's our chemical equation again. So our reactants are usually found on the left. Left is the reactants. Then there's the arrow, and our products are on the right. And the arrow usually stands for produces. Okay, so products on the right, reactants on the left, the arrow stands for produces. Let's go to the next slide. So write the chemical word equation for each of the following. I'm going to pause now because I'm only allowed 5 minutes, and we'll reconvene part 2 of the answers.